Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm the inspirational Andy Murray from WhatCulture. And remember, if it can't sing, put it in the bin.
Coming up, you won't believe the new name for the Backlash pay-per-view.
The updated Money in the Bank card.
The Superstar Shake-Up is still going on.
And the latest on Joey Ryan.
And more Lucha Underground stars requesting their release. This is the news.
Story number one. Some big money is being thrown around. As reported by Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful, top guys have been offered top dollar. His words, not ours. Very good turn of phrase. So, news broke before last night's Monday Night Raw that certain WWE mid-card talents had been offered something in the region of $500,000 a year to stick around with the company.
Wouldn't turn you back on that.
No, you absolutely wouldn't. This came through an interview with Jim Ross. I've just noticed what you've just done there. Tremendous stuff. Mr. Sapp of Fightful then did a bit more digging and found an unrelated situation where the Revival had reportedly been offered $500,000 each a year for 5 years to stay with WWE. Now, at the time, it was reported that not necessarily that they'd rejected it, but they'd just not accepted it. It was still on the table. Bodyslam.net then came in and said that the number was actually closer to $550,000. Getting even higher, and Shiggity Shagger Dave on his daily update on Figure 4 Online / The Wrestling Observer has said that yes, the deals have been rejected and that you would likely see WWE's response to this decision on TV last night, which of course manifested in that wonderful segment in which the Usos walked in on the Revival, shaving each other's backs in the shower. Wilborn.
I mean, this is the most WWE thing ever. Throw money at a problem till it goes away.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, embarrass people on national television.
Yeah, let's humiliate them, let's run them down.
They are one of the most talented tag teams in WWE at the moment. And WWE are throwing a hissy fit and going, ooh, you shave each other's backs.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. They've had a really weird year from apparently requesting their release while still wearing their ring gear, to holding the tag team titles, to losing them, and then to what happened last night. Look, the Revival are here until May 2020 at the very, very early. That's the earliest they can leave. That's when their contracts expire. It's going to be a long year of burials and, you know, not winning stuff.
Why not just, I don't know, make the most of them this year, have some stellar feuds with the Usos involving the titles, because we've had the hometown pop for Hawkins and Ryder and we can just make use of the titles and make them mean something again. But no, I'm not surprised by this, and I can completely understand the Revival wanting to leave. I still hope there's some resolution here, as with the Sasha Banks situation, and I hope that WWE, at the end of the day, it's clearly not about money for them, it's about the quality of the stuff that they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's creative rather than financial. Let's see what comes of it. But yeah, apparently shaving and like grooming yourself and like trying to look good makes you weird.
Indeed. Right, let's move on to the new name for Backlash. Backlash, as we mentioned a while back, had been switched with Money in the Bank, then moved due to the Saudi Arabia event that was taking place in early June, and now it has a new name: WWE Stomping Grounds. Not Stomping Ground, which actually is, I mean, not great as a name, but not as bad as Stomping Grounds. That is going to be taking place June 23rd in Tacoma, Washington. The Saudi Arabia event took place, or it's going to be taking place June 7th. The Backlash would have been really close to that, so hence why they bumped it back a week, and now they've given it a new name.
Yeah.
Andy Murray, what do you make of Stomping Grounds?
Shout outs to the great man Michael Sidgwick in the WhatCulture office, who noted the sheer banter that would have been WWE holding a pay-per-view named Backlash a week or so after a Saudi Arabian event. They've now lost that opportunity, of course. I don't mind it. Stomping Grounds, it's okay. I mean, it's
it should be Stomping Ground.
You'd think
I hate
so.
to be pernickety,
You'd
but
think so, but it's like when they do stuff like winner take all rather than winner takes all.
Yeah.
They're just kind of silly. They don't understand the letter S, it would seem. Yeah, no, I think it's okay. Like, I mean, it's not as wacky as like Great Balls of Fire was.
Nothing is going to be as bad as that, is it? So
the greatest Great Balls of Fire coming 2020, perhaps. But no, I'm okay with it. It's a decent enough name. The past few Backlashes have been absolute pap. So, you know, maybe it gives them a chance to wash away the terrible recent legacy of that pay-per-view and start a new one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad that they've sort of separated it for a couple of weeks away from the Saudi Arabia show, so hopefully they can develop storylines. If they're inevitably going to build ridiculous banter storylines for Saudi Arabia, then they have a couple of weeks to correct that. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they do at WWE Stomping Grounds.
Speaking of pay-per-views, let's talk about the new Money in the Bank card. The lineup is kind of coming together. We already had 4 matches heading into last night's Raw, and yesterday we reported on a leaked potential lineup that could have come to fruition. It was apparently part of local advertising. Guess what? That was all bollocks.
Well,
Sort of.
Some of them.
So the first kind of big development, I guess, would be Shane McMahon and The Miz. They're reprising their banter feud. They're going to have a steel cage match because we haven't seen enough of Shane McMahon falling off of very tall things in 2019. All on board with the sheer spectacle of that, particularly if Miz Sr. gets himself involved. We also have some additions to the Money in the Bank ladder matches. So in the men's side, representing Raw, we have Ricochet.
Predicted him.
Drew McIntyre.
Predicted him.
Braun Strowman. It wasn't in the thing, but still a good addition.
Yeah.
And the best addition of all,
the winner, our early pick.
The winner, and like Adam Nicholas pointed out this morning, they are going to make good on Baron Corbin's previous run with the briefcase. He's going to win and he's going to cash in and he's going to be the Universal Champion, and you are going to cry about it. In the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, we have Natalya, Alexa Bliss,
yay,
Naomi, and Dana Brooke.
She is not making it to that show.
Yeah,
There's no way she's in that match.
Someone's beating her up, brother.
Someone's jumping her backstage and taking her spot, baby.
Yeah, Sasha Banks, baby. Yeah, I mean, the lineups, they're not the most exciting so far, but SmackDown does probably have the more exciting roster than Raw. The men's one, I think, is actually quite strong. Like Corbin, you can kind of tease all kinds of stuff with. You can have him like go for the case at the end and everyone go, no, not him! And then a babyface wins. Whatever you want to do, it would work quite well. You know, the women's one will be interesting if Dana Brooke is subbed out for someone else. Looks a little bit more exciting, but at the same time, who knows what she might do with this opportunity if she does make the match. So.
They didn't say the word opportunity quite enough for me on Monday Night Raw. Odds are, after we've said all this, Dana Brooke's going to win the briefcase.
Because she loves WWE.
Anyway, let's move on because the Superstar Shake-Up will never stop. Normally they go, this is the 2 weeks after WrestleMania, here we go, Superstar Shake-Up time, and then last week they went, oh bollocks, we need to just fixed a few things here, and they just continued it because on Monday Night Raw it was revealed that the club are now on Raw. They have been on SmackDown, of course. Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson turned up on Monday Night Raw and were, beaten by the Usos. Yep. Quite an entertaining little match, though.
Yeah, pretty decent little mid-card match. The Usos won, as they should have, because they're the Usos.
So let's just run through what's left on the SmackDown tag side of things. You have the champions, the Hardys, currently injured, Heavy Machinery, the Colons, who else have we got? The B-Team.
B-Team.
And Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. Is that it?
That's it. I mean, technically you have the New Day, but Big E's out injured and Kofi's the WWE champion, so they don't really count. Apparently the Hardys are going to address Jeff's injury situation on tonight's SmackDown. That's a crap division, though. Like, it's just not good. What, we're going to have the Colons and Heavy Machinery versus, I don't know. This is awful. Just help. Please
talk about penis stuff instead.
Yeah, Willies and that. Speaking of penises, how about some Joey Ryan news? So the other day we reported the unbelievable situation that apparently WWE had been in contact with Big Joey.
Friend of the channel.
Friend of the channel, of course. Now it looks like the big man is preparing to make his final farewell from the indie circuit. He has released a new t-shirt, and have a look at this. It's actually pretty smart.
It looks
Picture
great.
of himself, Joey. It says, "Farewell to the Indies Tour 2000 to 2019. He tweeted with the accompanying caption, "I guess the word is out now. Am I signing somewhere? Have I already signed somewhere? One thing is certain, my time on the Indies is coming to an end, so pick up this farewell tour shirt at blah, blah, blah. For a limited time only, get him while I'm still here. Hashtag Raw." So, that's Joey just being a little work. He's going to AEW, yeah.
He's 100% going to AEW.
He's definitely going to AEW. Look, I mean, it'll be really interesting to see what a gimmick like Joey Ryan's can achieve at a wider scale. It is obviously a brand of humor that's not for everyone. I quite enjoy it. I think it's something different. It's really funny. We may not get to see him retire The Undertaker at WrestleMania, like you earnestly booked the other day, comment section. either way, yeah, I expect him to show up in AEW.
Yeah, look, he's done phenomenally well for himself. When I interviewed him last year, we chatted about the fact that he's basically made a career for himself out of something that normally people do in between going to big named shows. Yeah. He has become the indie guy, and he deserves this, and I'm sure he'll absolutely smash it.
Hard-working guy, crafted his own niche. It's hard for me to not like the dude, honestly. Like, he had that spiel against, guys like Jim Cornette come out and attack him and what he's doing for this business and all this other nonsense. But as he rightly pointed out the other year, like, what he's been able to do is secured a mortgage on a lovely house for him and his family. He's clearly doing very well. Good for that guy. Don't be a hater.
And of course, speaking of Joey Ryan, he's only just been released from his Lucha Underground contract. Speaking of Lucha Underground, look, it's all held together, this. There are 3 Lucha Underground stars now seeking their release, 3 more, I should say, per Lucha Central, this is. The performers in question are Famous B, Exolicious, who recently signed for AEW as, of course, Sonny Kiss, and former Lucha Underground champion Matanza, better known as Jeff Cobb, former Ring of Honor TV and New Japan Pro Wrestling Never Openweight champion. 3 more people wanting their release from Lucha Underground. It's not looking good.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good at all. Apparently, these 3 have hired legal representation. There's Willie Mack's name has also been mentioned. Apparently, Dorian Roldan, who is the president of AAA, the Mexican promotion that is affiliated with Lucha Underground, has threatened to send cease and desist to Ring of Honor and the NWA for using Willie Mack on their programming. It's all getting very messy. Earlier this year, we saw guys like El Hijo del Fantasma and, of course, Joey Ryan secure their release after taking legal action themselves. Yeah, everyone's lawyering up. It doesn't look good for Lucha Underground at this stage. Their future is very much hanging in the balance. And if they do secure 5th season or 6th season, whatever they're on in programming, they're not going to have a roster to actually pull it off. So, yeah, odd.
Tough time to try and run a company when WWE and AEW are being like they are as well. And New Japan, of course.
Absolutely.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. Don't forget you can tweet them at us at WhatCulture WWE. First question today comes from Uesugi Kenshin.
Legend.
Who says, with Sami Zayn continuing his great promo work, another great promo on Raw last night, someone has to step up and shut him up. Who do you think it'll be?
Oh, that's quite tough to tell. I'm wondering if maybe the Daniel Bryan absence thing is a work and they're leading to something between the two of them because the verbiage is very, very similar, but obviously that would probably be something closer to an alliance. It's really got to be like an exciting up-and-coming babyface who can really come in and just slap this smugness out of him. As to who that might be, I don't know, man. Maybe like a Ricochet? I don't know. Like, he doesn't really have a conflicting character to Sami Zayn's, but it'd be a good match.
I kind of don't want anyone to shut him up. I think I'd love to see him slowly rise and rise, and get into a feud with someone like, if he's still champion, Seth Rollins.
That'd be cool.
I really think, just on paper, Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins. However they get there, I'm not too fussed.
Ideological battle.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles.
There you go.
What are you using words like toxic for?
Right, let's move on to question number 2 from Angela Dawn, who says, do you think the women who are not named Becky or Charlotte are feeling frustrated with their booking and beginning to express resentment, a bit like Sasha Banks?
Perhaps there's a degree of that, but I do think that things like the women's tag division coming out has offered increased opportunities for TV exposure. On SmackDown, you not only have like potential women's title programs, but you also have smaller programs like a potential feud between the former Absolution women, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, and Kairi Sane and Asuka, which is currently brewing with Paige as the manager there, of course. I don't necessarily think so. I think that while they certainly have relegated other people to the shadows as a result of the 3 wrestlers on top, including Ronda Rousey in that bracket, becoming so big and so powerful and so hot that they have kind of eclipsed everything else. I do think that further opportunities will be afforded, although they really need to stop doing things like treating Sasha Banks in the way that has led to her current situation.
Yeah, I think Sasha Banks, hopefully they can resolve that with her. And in terms of everyone else, they've got quite lucky in terms of the fact that if everyone is getting a little bit frustrated right now, you're in the midst of post-WrestleMania where everything gets a bit shaken up, as you know, and you can introduce new feuds, but also Money in the Bank where you can sort of just go, we've got an idea for all of you, and they just chuck them all into that match and keep them busy for a month or so.
See what happens.
Right, final question today comes from Just Call Me Sherm on Twitter, who says, short, sweet, and to the point, should AJ Styles turn and stay heel?
I would rather see Seth Rollins turn and stay heel. We spoke about this recently. I just think he's a bit more compelling as a sniveling little toad. AJ obviously showed some heelish signs on this week's episode of Raw during the contract signing, which, surprise, surprise, ended in violence. Never see that happen. Yeah, I mean, I think that AJ, I don't know, his previous heel work was okay. It was fine. His current babyface work is pretty good. I think he's probably a little bit more compelling as a babyface because he's so spectacular in the ring and stuff, and people are always going to pop for that. Whereas Seth has shown that he's quite adept at like curbing that and making himself look a bit slower.
Pun intended?
Hey, nicely done.
I'd love to see AJ Styles turn heel and realign himself with the club and have something with that, but that's not going to happen, I don't think. And I agree. In terms of those two, if you turn Seth heel and have him eventually overcome AJ Styles and remain Universal Champion, you can build people up to face him, and you can have AJ Styles as sort of a gatekeeper for the title picture. You need to go through him to get to Seth Rollins.
For me to get to the belt.
Exactly. That's what I'd like to see. But yes, I'd like to see AJ Styles refresh his character, but not. Now he's on a new brand. He needs about 6 months, I think, as a babyface before we do anything heelish.
Let him have his little run and take it from there.
But a little bit of teasing in the match, Money in the Bank, I'm absolutely fine with from both characters.
100.
Right, let's move on to today's and finally, and it's belated and finally from yesterday. We were all a bit busy with news stories, and we forgot to mention that yesterday saw the birthday of the greatest wrestler alive today. Happy belated birthday, Titus O'Neil. Say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Titus. You seem like a really nice guy.
He retweeted my tweet. We're best friends now.
Cool.
Wilborn, do the thing.
Which one?
On both of them.
Titus worldwide!
Bye, everyone.
Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And send us your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Whilst you're there, you can follow both of us. You can follow him at
Andy H. Murray, and the H stands for happy.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. As I said, follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.
I'm not really happy. I'm actually dead inside.